So we start the question for question one, business A level. We have the first question says, construct a supply and demand diagram to show the impact on the global market for hazelnuts after the event described in extract A. According to the event is about an external shock. There was drought, there was insect damage, right? These are external shocks, and whenever there's external shock, it affects businesses, and that will shift the supply curve leftward. So we're going to have a leftward shift in the supply curve from S to S1. So I'm going to draw the graph now. So it's all about the graph. So it said, construct a supply and demand diagram to show the impact on the global market for hazelnuts after the event described in extract A. The event is what we call external shock. There's external shock, external shock, external shocks. Sorry. How do I take this away? Okay, external shocks. So for external shocks, we're going to have, first we're going to be at equilibrium. So this is at equilibrium. We have, it has to be on that spot. We have demand and supply. We have the demand curve, supply curve. We have PE and QE. So from here, there's external shocks, which will shift the supply curve leftward from S to S1. And that will bring about a new equilibrium quantity from QE to Q1. Then we're going to have a high equilibrium price from PE to P1. Leftward, the quantity supply reduces, a leftward shift in the supply curve, and a rise in price. So that's the result of external shock. So we go to the next question 2, 1B, right?
Yeah, 1B.
Okay.
Give me question 2.
Yeah, they said, explain one disadvantage for Turkey of specializing in the growing of hazelnuts. So, Turkey their specialization because Turkey has almost the largest proportion of hazelnuts in the global production or supply. So I wouldn't even need to talk further because we already know that there was external shock. So the disadvantage about specialization is external shock. You are exposed to external shock. So here I wrote, external shocks are beyond the control of Turkey.
Yeah.
Yes or no? So Turkey relies heavily on the production of hazelnuts as it produces 75% of global output. So Turkey has been affected by extreme weather and insect infestation. This will negatively affect the production of hazelnuts in Turkey. So Turkey relying heavily on the production of hazelnuts with external shock simply means Turkish producers of hazelnuts will not be able to produce as they used to produce. And that reduces their revenue and it affects them negatively. I think it's
like
clear.
increasing raw materials, for example, because of the limited production of
Yes, supply reduces.
Yeah.
So revenue for them would reduce.
Exactly.
And that would affect, you can as well talk about it affecting the balance of payment current account of Turkey. So we go to question C. They said, discuss the benefit for the EU fishing industry from receiving subsidies. Subsidies is a financial help from government. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So subsidy allows businesses to survive as the same producers may have left the market without it. With subsidy, businesses will be able to survive in that market because without subsidy, they might as well leave the market, isn't it? Good. According to Extract B, the EU paid 2 billion. Now, it is the EU, not the global markets now. According to Extract B, the EU paid 2 billion for its fishing industry in 2018. This allows the EU fish producers to lower prices and become more internationally competitive. Yes or no? This allows them to expand and increase their market share. With subsidies, the fishing industry in the EU may be able to create employment opportunities because they can expand into the global markets because they are internationally competitive. And that increases the numbers of workers they would need. And that creates employment. So subsidy would literally create employment opportunity. And that's the point I'm making here. However, other fishing nations may retaliate by using their own subsidies. And that was the $35 billion globally. So other countries might also subsidize to compete with the EU fishing industry. Does it make sense now?
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. That's it.
Yes. Now go to question 1D. Are you there?
Yeah. I'm just checking.
Okay. Can check as soon as I'm going to anyway. So we have question D. Are you there? No, don't place it like this. You place it this way, so you don't mix them together. They said, assess the role of the World Trade Organization in increasing trade liberalization. What is trade liberalization? Free trade, yes or no? The World Trade Organization is in charge of the world trading arrangements, negotiation, and trade promotion to benefit free trade. That is what World Trade Organization will do. They arrange, they negotiate, and they promote international free trade. That is the role of the World Trade Organization. So the World Trade Organization helps to resolve conflict between governments, such as the agreement of harmful fishing subsidies in the case study. Countries are aspiring to join the already 164 World Trade Organization members. There are 164 anyway, members in World Trade Organization. And members will help them to benefit from trade liberalization. The World Trade Organization actively assists and encourages less developed economies to join and participate in trade talks, with a view of encouraging more trade in terms of economic development. These are the role of World Trade Organization. The extract is talking about the negotiation, which is one of the role of World Trade Organization. It doesn't end there. There's disputes, which the World Trade Organization is trying to solve for 20 years. But that is not the only role of World Trade Organization. They're asking you about the role of World Trade Organization, which simply comes from the context, the textbook. However, the World Trade Organization is not as effective as it should be, as evidence shows that it has taken 20 years to get close to an agreement over fishing. 20 years. Why will you spend 20 years to reach agreement over fishing? That means the World Trade Organization might not as well be effective as we think it is.
Okay, I get you, Mr.
The expansion of trading bloc has immensely encouraged trade liberalization, and it doesn't involve WTO. Yes or no? There are different trade agreements that World Trade has even dabbled into that did not work. The Doha agreement, they were unable to reach conclusion. It failed.
The what?
Doha's agreement.
Doha.
Doha, yeah.
What Doha?
Trade agreement between Doha and Doha. You don't know Doha. That's Qatar, right?
Oh, yeah.
Better communication and infrastructure, I told you about that. Better communication and infrastructure have encouraged trade without the help of World Trade Organization. We're talking about what about trading blocks? Trading blocks encourage trade liberalization than even World Trade Organization. With trading blocks, we are closer to trade liberalization compared to using World Trade Organization. Because trading blocks put countries together that are within the same region. So that might encourage trade liberalization. Do you understand? So we're talking about the role of World Trade Organization and why we might not as well rely on them for trade liberalization. So that was the question about. Does it make sense to you now?
Yeah.
Please, you have to go through this again, please. Any question about that?
No.
So go to question 1E. So for question 1E, they said, assess the possible impact of sustainable policies on a global business such as Epson. We're talking about sustainable policies. We're talking about corporate social responsibility policy. Sustainable policies are policies that allows us to, decisions of now should not affect the decision in the future. So whatever we do now, our business activity now, in the present day, must not affect those coming after all. That is sustainability. Sustainability is the process of satisfying the needs of the present without jeopardizing the future needs. You satisfy the needs of now, but not jeopardizing the needs of the future. That is sustainability. Going forward, no one is affected. That is sustainability. For a business to act in a sustainable manner, it has to move towards this goal. So for every business to be considered as being socially responsible, it has to move towards policies like this. This implies that businesses are reducing their environmental footprint in terms of inputs and harmful outputs. So whatever our factors of production are, we are using factors of production that would not be harmful in the course of the society. This may reduce profitability, especially if a business is competing with other businesses that don't care about CSR. Now, it increases cost, yes. And that might as well reduce your profitability, especially if you are contesting or competing with businesses that do not care about sustainability. So you care about sustainability, you are incurring more cost. Other businesses do not care about sustainability, then your profit might be reduced because they will be making more profit than you making. Because you are both in the same market. They don't care about sustainability, you care about sustainability. And that's why you are sourcing for raw materials, resources that are sustainable. They don't source for resources that are not sustainable. So resources that are not sustainable are expected to be cheaper compared to resources that are sustainable. Does it make sense to you? According to the extracts, Epson is spending $1,115,000 a day on research and development. Yes or no?
Yeah.
This may bring conflicts to shareholders who wants increase in their dividends, return. So when you spend $1,115,000 on research and development, this same amount of money could be added up to their profits, which can now be shared as profit, as dividends to shareholders. So shareholders might not be happy.
I get you.
However, being sustainable may have a competitive advantage. That's the first advantage. Customers that are environmentally conscious may choose to buy from Epson instead of its competitors. Printers that use less energy may be cheaper to run and attract more customers. In the long run, the benefit may be greater than the cost of pursuing sustainable development or sustainable.
You said that, I think.
No, not this way.
Not this way.
You're even talking about the short run. I told you sustainability is in the long run. You incur cost in the short run. The profit comes in the long run. Is it clear? That's question one. You can put it together. I told you this way. Now I have question two. Okay, for question two, they said, evaluate the extent to which the marketing mix may need to be adapted for a global niche product, such as Alotop. First, when we talk about marketing mix, we're simply talking about those components that allows a business to be able to reach its targeted customers. Marketing mix are what? The components that allow a business to reach its targeted customers. That is marketing mix. Price, place, promotion, and products. Here I wrote, marketing mix is a strategy that allows a business to create a comprehensive marketing plan to influence consumers to purchase a product or service. They are the 4 P's: price, place, product, and promotion. What's a global niche? You are supposed to define what a global niche is also. A global niche market is a smaller segment of the mass market for a specific group of customers. Yes or no? For a niche, now we start with the product. For a niche product to be successful, it has to appeal to the unsatisfied consumers. And according to Extract D, Allotop has targeted the growing numbers of health-conscious consumers who don't want to buy products that will be detrimental to their health. They are not satisfied. So Allotop is targeting those customers as a way to differentiate its product.
Okay.
Allotop ice cream does not have the same number of calories as traditional products. And it's being differentiated by being healthier. That's the product differentiation. Because your product, you have to differentiate your product from those of your competitors. And that was what Allotop did. Yes or no? Is it making sense or not?
Yeah, makes sense.
However, there's the risk of having successful niche products, as competitors may imitate, as in the case of Ben & Jerry, Agan and Dance, and Magnum. Your product is a successful product. So, because your product is a successful product, there's a risk of imitator. They might imitate your product. And that was the case of Ben & Jerry. They come up with the same product because the product was successful. So there's a risk of you differentiating your product.
Imitating the market.
Imitating your product. That's about, so to continue to grow, Allotop must continuously differentiate its product from those of its competitors, and that would be difficult. Because whenever you come up with a brand of product, the product seems successful, competitors, potential businesses would imitate it one way or the other. Does it make sense? It's a niche market. It's not a monopoly. Price. the amount paid on niche product tends to be higher as consumers perceive it to be better than those of competitors. That's premium price. It's possible. Niche products have a PED that is what? Low, that is price inelastic, which allows them to make profits. So the demand for niche products are always price elastic, which simply means irrespective of the price, consumers will definitely pay, and that allows them to make more profits. Yes or no? Yes or no, please?
Yeah.
However, now the problem is for each marketing mix you talk about, you have to give the setback of each marketing mix. You talked about a product differentiation. What is the implication of product differentiation? You talked about price, the benefit of price, which is price inelastic and charging premium prices. What is the implication of price? Now the market is becoming bigger. So
more competitive.
Allotop might not be able to use premium pricing anymore. It would rather use what? Competitive pricing. Is it making sense to you?
Yes.
Please, in your exams, the marketing mix comes in. Irrespective of whatever the company is, forget about the company here. But what you are supposed to talk about, product differentiation, and how product differentiation can be imitated. Price, the amount to be paid, premium prices for niche
product.
Niche product, yes. And the PED for niche product is always what? Inelastic, which simply means there's profitability with price. Now, the setback regarding price is that the market becomes expanding. The market is expanding.
Wait, I can talk one of the P's.
Talk more. You have to talk about its marketing mix.
Yeah.
You have to talk about price, place, product, promotion. You have to talk about all. So for price, the setback about price is that the market is attracting potential competitors, yes or no? So that simply means for Allotop to remain relevant in that market, Allotop has to charge the same price as its competitors, competitive pricing. At the initial stage, there's premium price. Going forward, because the market is becoming bigger, you can't charge premium price anymore. You have to charge competitive price. And that is the point.
Customers.
Yeah, no customer in heaven. All the customers are here.
Yeah.
Clear. Now, place. The convenience. The convenience. The convenience of customers to have access to the product is also important. Many niche producers sell through specialist outlets or their own websites, mostly. Yes or no? However, as the niche market grows, distribution channel must what? Expand too. Like selling in the supermarket. But what is the problem about here? The supermarket will be selling different brands, increasing competition for Allotop. Clear? Promotion. Creating awareness about the product is important for a niche market. Allotop has used social networking to build a loyal fan base. But Facebook and Instagram alone, right?
Yeah.
That is considered micro-digital. It's micro.
They didn't mention TikTok, YouTube.
Yeah, there are lots.
Yeah.
So using Facebook and Instagram alone.
In fact, it also, they said, also they influenced the older age groups too, which means they have to use methods, advertising methods.
Than just Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
So that's why I say
like
it is
TV advertising.
Yeah, that's why I say it is micro-digital. Micro, just too few. You need to expand because the market is a mass market. So there's LinkedIn, there are a lot of social media network you have to it has to be macro, not micro. Do you get the point?
Yeah.
Any question about that? Any question about it? So that's about question 2. So we'll go to question 3. I think it's clear now, right? So go to question 3. And for question 3, they said, evaluate the usefulness of Porter's 5 forces for a global business such as Glovo when assessing potential markets. Porter 5 forces talked about how fierce the competition is in the market, how intense the competition is in the market. That is Porter's 5 forces. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So here I wrote, Porter 5 forces can be used to investigate how fierce competition is within an industry. According to Porter, there were 5 forces that determined where power lay in any given market. The 5 forces are. Now, what do? They help business to analyze the competitive forces it faces and effectively come up with strategies to achieve a competitive advantage. Why do we have Porter 5 forces? We have it to be able to strategize. Because every business wants to have the first position. Having the first position means you have a competitive advantage over your competitors. So that is why you need Porter's 5 forces.
I get you.
You got my point here. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the rivalry that exists among competitors. Markets with only few competitors, competing firms are likely to have much more control. Global has little to worry about as claimed as the market leader. Global is the market leader, so it has little to worry about when it comes to rivalry among existing competitors. Yes or no? Threat of new entrants, that's another Porter 5 forces. When you talk about the threat of new entrants, it's simply about how easy it is for firms, potential firms, to enter that market, the ease at which they can enter the market. But based on this case here, they said, I wrote, the ease at which potential businesses may enter the market, Africa is still relatively what? An underdeveloped economy. So therefore, there's a threat to that. More businesses might explore.
To the market.
Yes. Do you understand the point?
Yeah.
Africa is underdeveloped.
Yeah.
There's no threat. Like businesses might be able to enter, multinationals might come in. Do you get the point?
Yeah.
Threat of substitutes. That's the third one, right? There are Kokada and Jumia, that's from Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay. Food that are present in the market and providing a similar service.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that.
You mentioned that, yes, I like that. Now we go to the bargaining power of buyers. Many buyers should give greater power to the business. Global claims to already have over 300,000 customers. So having 300,000 customers means you have competitive advantage. It means you have power over your customers. 300,000 customers are huge. If 300,000 customers buy from you, that means you have bargaining power over your buyers. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
But when you have few buyers, it simply means they have power over you. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So that simply means the prospect of many should give global a competitive advantage. I talked about that. Bargaining power of suppliers. The more suppliers you have, the better your bargaining power. When you have more suppliers, so it simply means you can as well tell them that, oh, if you're not going to sell for me at a reduced price, so you can go, I'm going to buy from this.
I get you.
That's the bargaining power of suppliers. When you have, the more suppliers you have, the greater your bargaining power over them. Does it make sense?
Makes sense.
So here, the more suppliers, the greater the power of the business. Global has many suppliers, example, 8,000 restaurants. Yes or no? In summary, Porter's 5 forces tend to suggest that the expansion for Global into its potential market is relatively free of risk and it should have a competitive advantage. Using Porter's 5 forces, it simply shows that Global will not have problems because the market is going to have a competitive. The
market is new.
It's new and it's going to be the price leader, the market leader. So there's no threats.
Yeah.
However, Porter's 5 forces is just a tool. There are other factors that need to be put into consideration. However, the Porter 5 forces doesn't put into consideration the level of income. Africa has low disposable income. In Africa, the income level is low. And Global has to put that into consideration. Because if you have customers with low income level, the demand for your product might as well fall. Porter 5 forces will not talk about income of consumers.
It only talks about...
It talks about the bargaining power of buyers.
Yeah.
It doesn't talk about the income of buyers, and that is important too. Because you have to understand the market you are going to. You have to understand. So maybe you can segment the market based on income. That's market segmentation.
Yeah. There's other factors like the PESTLE analysis.
PESTLE analysis, yes. So that's what I said.
Stability, for example.
Yes, political stability is also important.
Yeah.
So I said African countries have poor infrastructure, which may also be detrimental to Global's operation.
That's another
factor. PESTLE. No, PESTLE for infrastructure? No. Infrastructure is its own. Infrastructure is about communication, road network, water supply, electricity.
That's another problem.
That's another problem, which Porter will not talk about. So Porter forces has its own
thing,
its own drawbacks or its own weakness. Sorry.
It talks about one thing.
It talks about the suppliers, the customers, most of inside.
Competitors, basically.
Yeah, but it doesn't talk about factors that are also important, like income, like infrastructure, like PESTLE, political, economical, social, technological, environmental, legal factors.
Yeah.
It's not talked about. So that's about that. I think it's clear.